Calling the roll for the Monday, November 4th, 2024 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:02 a.m. We have Levine Ross serving as an alternate for Meredith Turner.
Present.
Councilmember Dale Miller.
Here.
Joseph Nani serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.
Here.
Catherine Gallagher serving as an alternate for Chris Renee, County Executive.
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer, and as chairperson.
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Could take a few minutes to review the meeting minutes from 10:28. If there's no correction, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, any public comment?
No public comment.
We can go into contracts and awards.
Okay, first item, new item for review, BC 2024-792, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Ohio Machinery Company, DBA Ohio Peterbilt, and the amount not to exceed $256,164 for joint cooperative purchase of one replacement new 2025 cab and chassis with dump truck body for the Road and Bridge Division and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is a purchase order with Ohio Machinery, also known as Ohio Peterbilt. It's to replace a 2006 older dump truck used by a Road and Bridge Division. That'll go off on, get auctioned off on GovDeals. The procurement is through Sourcewell, which is the approved joint cooperative, which was our previously bid and or negotiated.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes. What's your guess as to what the old vehicle would bring at auction?
Without looking at the condition, a few $1,000s. I mean, it could go up. A lot of these, especially the dump trucks, they tend to rust out. The bodies tend to rust out, so someone may use it as a backup in some other city, or a construction company could use it as a backup. It really depends on what the condition of it is.
You certainly got your use out of it. Do you know how many miles were put on it?
I believe it was 100. I thought it was just like 130,000. I'd have to double check for you.
Pretty low for 18 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-793, Department of Public Works submitting an amendment to a contract with Janney Elsner Associates Incorporated for general architectural engineering services for the period August 5th, 2020 through September 1st, 2024, to extend the time period to March 31st, 2026, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $271,500, effective upon signatures of all parties.
Good morning, Matt Reimer with the Department of Public Works. This is one of several of our general architectural engineering services task order contracts. This amendment, though, is specifically to finish 3 in-progress capital construction projects and provide their services as they were the designer of record for those 3 projects. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-794, Department of Public Works recommending an award on RQ 14627 and submitting a contract with Relocation Specialists Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $265,895 for professional services for transition planning, move coordination, and management services, including but not limited to movement of furniture and fixtures from various county facilities, effective upon signatures of all parties for a period of 3 years.
Good morning. Again, Matt Reimer with the Department of Public Works. This requested contract is the result of a request for qualifications that saw 4 responses for move management and consulting services. This contract is envisioned to include the upcoming Board of Elections relocation, as well as various Health and Human Services relocations as that planning develops.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-795, Department of Public Works recommending an award on RQ 14293 and submitting a contract with the Osborne Engineering Company in the amount not to exceed $300,000 for parking garages, general architectural engineering, and adjunct services as may be authorized on a task order basis, effective upon signatures of all parties for a period of 3 years.
Good morning, Matt Reimer again with the Department of Public Works. This is contract request is the result of a request for qualifications that saw 3 responses for our request for architectural and engineering services for parking garages specifically. This will be different than our normal consultant contracts countywide, as it will just focus on our parking services areas as it is funded by the Parking Services Revenue Fund. We have a number of capital projects scheduled for the Huntington Park Garage, and there are new City of Cleveland code provisions for inspection and occupancy of parking garages that this contract will assess so that we can be in compliance with.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Ross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2024-796, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Polarity.io Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $26,400 for the renewal of 10 Polarity client, 1 Polarity server, and 1 Polarity support services subscriptions for the period December 9, 2024 through December 8, 2025, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. As Cheryl just read into the record, this purchase order is for an additional year of a platform we presently use at IT. Polarity is the platform for cybersecurity and the cybersecurity functionality that they use. We found out through 2 rounds of informal bidding that we can get it cheaper going directly to Polarity than through their value-added resellers.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next
Thank you.
item.
Next item, BC 2024-797, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the total amount not to exceed $47,253.56 for state contract purchase, installation, and programming services for 1 recording server, various video surveillance products, and related equipment, including licensing and support services for a period of 1 year, and as further described in items B1 and 2 on the printed agenda, and submitting a purchase order in connection with said RFP exemption. Let the record reflect that Nicole English is now present for Mike Dever as an alternate.
All right. Good morning, David DeGrandis from the Department of IT. The county recently acquired 2 parking lots near Virgil Brown. One is immediately adjacent to the west of the building, and the other is on the north side of Superior Avenue, adjacent to the fire station. In order to have those start to be utilized, we wanted to add security cameras to the lots. This will be an extension of our current system, our enterprise class system provided by Integrated Precision Systems. And these are preliminary plans. As the county develops more in-depth plans for the resurfacing and reworking of the lots, then we'll revisit the equipment at that time.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-798, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Carasoft Technology Corporation in the amount not to exceed $43,317.70 for a joint cooperative purchase of 170 hours of Smartsheet professional services for deployment related to project management functionalities, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. As Cheryl just read into the record, this RFP exemption is joint co-op pricing, and the 170 hours for the purchase order is a drawdown for the platform. Smartsheet is the IT standard. It's used by the project management office, and it's a blended rate. We had advanced questions. It's a blended rate over 3 different job skills, and we put together the number of hours we thought we needed by the job skills and came up with the dollar amount.
Are there any questions on this item?
Yes. Are there any of these skills that we could access by hiring somebody?
I don't know the answer to that, Dale. I suppose the answer is yes. We could hire for anything and everything, but I don't know about the availability in this market at the rate we pay. I think that's an HR question, that's not mine.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Porter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next, item BC 2024-799, Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Court Division recommending an award and submitting an agreement with University of Cincinnati Research Institute together with its authorized affiliate, the University of Cincinnati, and the amount not to exceed $44,500 for cognitive behavioral interventions training, technical assistance, and video conference coaching services for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
Good morning, Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court. The vendor shall provide all components of complete training for cognitive behavior interventions. This is a comprehensive curriculum. This program and contract is funded 100% by the Reclaim Grant. Funding for this contract shall not exceed the $44,500 for a term starting July 1st through June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next, item BC 2024-800, County Prosecutor submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $27,900 for a state contract purchase for the renewal of one Wasabi Reserve capacity cloud storage and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Josh Brower with the Prosecutor's Office. This item is a renewal and expansion of our Wasabi cloud storage platform to securely store backup data off-site in the event of a disaster.
Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Ross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next
Thank you.
item.
Next, item BC 2024-801, Medical Examiner's Office submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in award recommendation to VWR Funding Incorporated, DBA VWR International LLC, and the amount not to exceed $14,629.34 for state contract purchase of 160 cases of 10 milliliter disposable centrifuge glass tubes for the toxicology lab, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. This is pretty straightforward. They are 160 cases of 10 milliliter disposable centrifuge tubes for the tox lab.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next
Thank you.
item.
Next item, BC 2024-802, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services recommending an award on RQ 13121 and enter into a purchase order with Vasu Communications Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $59,979.09 for the purchase of replacement P25 radios, 6 mobile, 12 portable, and 1 two-piece remote, and various accessories for the Geauga County Sheriff's vehicles.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety. And a reminder, State Homeland 21 Law Enforcement was a regional grant, so it served all 5 counties in the region. As the clerk has read, these radios are for the Geauga County Sheriff's Office. This was competitively bid, and the award is being made to the lowest cost vendor.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2024-803, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services recommending an award and submitting an agreement with City of Euclid in the amount not to exceed $5,920.46 for the provision of local non-federal matching funds for the Operations and Safety Program in connection with the FY 2023 Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program, effective upon signatures of all parties through November 14, 2025, and to change the funding source to general fund.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn again. The City of Euclid was able to get a FEMA AFG grant and requested assistance with their local match. They are receiving $59,204.54 from FEMA, and this grant is going to be used to purchase a thermal imaging camera, supply hoses, basic hand tools, and nozzles, and 4 radios.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Motion to approve as amended.
As amended. Yes, thank you. Seconded by Mr. Nani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item approved by unanimous vote as amended. Next item, BC 2024-804, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, on behalf of the Medical Examiner's Office, submitting an agreement with Cuyahoga County District Board of Health to outline the roles and responsibilities of the Medical Examiner's Office for toxicologic testing services in connection with Overdose Data to Action Grant for the period September 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025, in the amount not to exceed $237,251, and to change the funding source to Cuyahoga County District Board of Health subaward.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn again. And the County Board of Health actually received a five-year grant from the CDC, and they are contracting with the Medical Examiner's Office. The Medical Examiner's Office is doing toxicology testing of the used syringes and providing them with the results. This money, though, even though it's a five-year grant, it's being doled out on an annual basis by the CDC, which is why we have to do separate agreements each year. And this grant is paying for 2 staff positions, supplies, associated travel, and computer expenses.
Any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
As
there-
amended,
As
right, for
amended,
the funding
with the
source.
funding source. Correct, thank you, Paul. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. English. All those in favor say aye.
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 And
Opposed?
seconded as amended by unanimous vote.
Gotcha, thank you.
Mhm.
Next item?
Thank you.
Next item, first item, exemptions, BC 2024-805. Department of Health and Human Services recommend an alternative procurement process which will result in payments to Treasurer State of Ohio for various invoices and the total amount not to exceed $250,000 for technical support services to county employees in connection with the tech service support policy for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
Good morning, Ramon Caldas, Health and Human Services. This is an alternate procurement request for technical service support policy. The Department of Health and Human Service, a lot of their agencies operate on the state of Ohio's network, and we're responsible for covering a portion of the cost for network maintenance. We can also purchase IT standard equipment such as laptops and workstations to support staff and receive technical support from the state for all programs provided to us. Additionally, we utilize state software and are hosted on the state servers. We're seeking the alternate procurement to establish a mechanism to pay invoices as they come in for network maintenance, equipment purchase, technical support, state software, and server access provided by the state.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second by Ms. Ross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2024-806, Department of Health and Human Services, Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, recommending an alternative procurement process which will result in various award recommendations to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $40,000 for non-emergency client transportation services for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, as listed in items A and B on the printed agenda.
Good morning, Ramon Caldas, Health and Human Services, on behalf of Cuyahoga Job and Family Services. This alternate procurement request is for non-emergency transportation. We are required to provide rides for Medicaid recipients to and from medical appointments. We do have an RFP with AmeriCab, but these two will serve as backups to ensure continuity of services. Some clients may prefer not to utilize AmeriCab. The two vendors are seldom used by the agency, and just a comparison, AmeriCab through the RFP, we're going to be paying out $2.8 million this year. ABC was not paid at all, and then Ace Taxi was utilized under $14,000. Approval today will give us a mechanism to pay the invoices and provide service for clients, and this one is 100% reimbursable.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Nani. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Moving on to consent agenda items BC 2024-807 through BC 2024-811.
And take a second to review these items. Are Are there any questions on these items? Hearing no questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Any other business?
No other business?
Any public comment?
No public comment?
I'd like to make a
I
motion
have
to.
a question. Is next Monday a holiday and the meeting is on Tuesday?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned. Thank you.